The stars had always been quiet. For as long as humans could remember, Earth looked up at the night sky and saw only silence. No messages, no ships, no signs that anyone else was out there. But then one day the silence broke. It wasn't a greeting or a song from across the stars. It wasn't even a peaceful signal. It was a warning. A message came through deep space radio, loud and clear. The signal did not come from inside our solar system. It came from far away, light years beyond anything humans had ever reached. The message said, "You are seen, you will submit, or you will be erased." No name, no face, just cold words from an unknown enemy. Governments all over Earth went into shock. Scientists tried to trace the source. Military leaders called for war, plans. Diplomats begged for time to talk. But behind closed doors, another group was already moving. They were not scientists. They were not diplomats. They were not politicians with fancy titles or generals who gave orders from safe rooms. They were something, else they were called the apex hunters, not because they were animals, but because they were the best. These were men and women who had lived through wars, trained in secret places, and survived things most people couldn't imagine. Some had fought in forgotten battles. Others had worked alone, slipping into places no one knew existed. They were not heroes on TV. They were ghosts. And now, Earth needed ghosts. The world's leaders made a choice. Instead of sending peace talks or science teams, they would send them. They would not go as soldiers. Not officially. They would wear suits. They would speak calmly. They would act like diplomats. But beneath those suits were weapons no alien had ever seen. Beneath their calm faces were minds built for war. Their mission was simple. Go in. Find out who sent the message. See if they can be stopped. If not, stop them. The team was small. Only 5 were chosen. Logan Reeves was the leader. He used to be in the military but left after too many years in places no one talked about. He was good with guns, better with plans. His eyes never missed anything. Kelly Morrow was next. She was smart, very smart. A linguist and tech expert. She could break codes faster than most people could read. She also knew how to fight, though few believed her until they saw it. Danny Cruz was the muscle. A former cage fighter, he had been recruited by the government after winning too many fights in too short a time. He didn't look like much, but he moved like a storm when he wanted to. Then there was Samira Patel. She was ex-intelligence, from a unit so secret most people didn't know it existed. She was good at staying hidden, and better at killing quietly. If someone needed to disappear, she was the one to do it. Finally, there was Owen Briggs. He was the oldest of the group. An engineer and survivalist, he could build anything from nothing and survive anywhere. He was the one who made sure their gear worked, and when things went wrong, he was the one who got them out. Together, they were not a team of diplomats. They were a weapon. They trained for weeks. They learned everything they could about the signal, where it came from, what kind of language it used, how fast it traveled. It came from a planet called Virex Prime. That was just a name Earth gave it. No one knew what the aliens called it. Virex Prime was far away, too far for normal ships. So, Earth had built something special, a ship called the Wayfarer. It looked like a diplomatic vessel. Sleek, shiny, filled with meeting rooms and soft lights. But under the surface, it was a warship, hidden weapons, cloaking tech, AI systems smarter than most pilots. It could fly through space like a shadow. Inside, the apex hunters prepared. They wore suits that looked normal, but each suit was lined with armor. Their watches held explosives. Their pens could cut through steel. They wouldn't start a war, but if one started, they'd end it. As they neared Virex Prime, the real test began. Would the aliens believe they were here to talk, or would they see the truth? That Earth had not sent diplomats. Earth had sent hunters. The first scan showed movement, alien ships, big ones, coming toward them. Owen checked the systems. "They're scanning us," he said, "looking for weapons." "They won't find any," Logan said. "Not the kind they expect." Kelly sat near the front watching the screen. They're broadcasting again, she said. Same message, submit or die. Danny laughed. Well, we're not submitting. No, Logan said. We're not. Samira stood near the back, silent. Her hand rested on the hidden gun under her coat. We land in 6 hours, Owen said. After that, we're on our own. Logan nodded. Good. He looked at his team. 5 people. 1 mission. Don't talk. Don't beg. Don't run. Win. As the ship flew closer to the alien world, the silence returned. The stars watched. The dark waited, and Earth's secret weapon stepped forward to meet the enemy and remind them. Humans don't run. Humans hunt. The sky above Virex Prime was red, not the soft red of a sunset, but deep and angry, like blood spilled across the heavens. From the window of the Wayfarer, the team looked down at the world that had sent them a threat instead of a greeting. It was big, covered with dark oceans, jagged mountains, and sprawling cities built like fortresses. Tall towers rose like claws into the sky. Ships moved between them like insects. Lights blinked like eyes watching in the dark. This was not a place for peace. It was a place for war, and Earth's hunters were about to land in the middle of it. The Virexi did not speak first. They acted. As the Wayfarer descended, 6 alien ships surrounded it. They were sleek, black, and fast, built more like weapons than transport. A voice came through the comms, deep, harsh, speaking in their own language. Kelly tapped her earpiece. She had trained hard to understand this tongue, but it wasn't easy. The Virexi spoke with clicks, growls, and deep tones that humans could barely mimic. She responded in kind. Through the speaker, she said, "We are envoys of Earth. We come in peace." There was silence, then a reply. "You will land where told. No deviation." Logan nodded. "Copy that." Owen guided the ship toward the landing zone, a wide platform built on top of a massive structure. As they landed, heat waves rolled off the metal surface. The air was thick with smoke and strange smells. Doors opened. The moment they stepped out, everything changed. They were met by 10 tall figures. The Virexi stood over 2 meters tall. Their skin was covered in scales. Their eyes were yellow with narrow black pupils. Their mouths were full of sharp teeth, even when closed. They wore armor that looked like bone carved from stone. Weapons hung from their belts, strange, glowing, tools that pulsed with energy. One stepped forward. He was taller than the rest. His armor was darker. Red lines ran across his chest like scars. He looked at Logan and spoke in broken, rough English. "You speak?" Logan nodded. "Yes." The Virexi leader gave a slow grin. "Good. You will kneel." No one moved. Logan took a step forward. Calm, confident. He looked the alien in the eye and said, "We do not kneel." The silence after that was heavy. One of the guards made a sound like a growl. Another raised a hand to his weapon, but the leader raised his own hand and stopped them. Then he laughed. It was not a friendly laugh. It was more like the sound a wolf might make before tearing its prey apart. "So," he said, "you are not weak." "No," Logan said, "we are not." The leader turned and gestured for them to follow. "Come," he said. "Let us see what you are made of." They walked through a city built on power. Everything here was large, brutal, designed to show strength. Buildings were carved from black stone. Streets were lined with statues of warriors frozen mid-battle. People, tall, scaled, and silent, watched from windows and rooftops. Some stared with curiosity, others with hate. The apex hunters stayed calm. Their suits looked clean, polished, diplomatic, but beneath the fabric they were ready. Danny's fingers twitched near his hidden weapon. Samira scanned every face, every shadow. Owen kept his eyes on exits. Kelly translated the murmurs of the crowd. "They think we're soft," she whispered. "They don't believe we'll last the night." Logan smiled without showing his teeth. Let them think that. They arrived at a huge palace. It looked like a fortress. Black walls, spikes on every corner, guards everywhere. Inside, the air was cool, smelled like oil and fire. The leader brought them to a great hall. A long table sat in the center. At the head of the table sat a being so large and old even the guards seemed afraid. The Emperor. Long rows of sharp teeth filled his mouth when he spoke. His voice echoed through the chamber. "You are small," he said. "Soft. Why should I listen? To you?" Logan stepped forward. "We are here to talk," he said. "To learn. To understand." The Emperor watched him closely. Then he laughed again. "Talk?" he said. "Your kind always talks first, talks until you are dead." Logan held his gaze. "Maybe, some of my kind," he said. "Not all of us." The Emperor leaned forward. "Then show me why you are different." Logan did not blink. "I will," he said. The Emperor clapped once. Guards entered. One carried a tray. On it was meat. "Raw, bloody. You eat," he said. "If you want to sit at my table." Logan looked at the meat. So did the others. None moved. Then Kelly stepped up. Without hesitation, she picked up the meat. She took a bite. Blood dripped down her chin. She swallowed. Then she said, "Is this how you test guests? Or enemies?" The room went silent. Even the Emperor paused. Then he smiled. "Interesting," he said. "Very interesting." That night, the Apex Hunters were given rooms inside the palace, but they did not sleep. While the aliens thought them polite guests, the team worked. Samira mapped the building using hidden tech in her watch. Owen studied the wiring in the walls, looking for weaknesses. Danny tested the locks. Practice. Kelly went through files left in the open, records, names, plans, and Logan? He watched. He listened. Because he knew something the Virexi didn't. Earth hadn't sent diplomats. They had sent hunters, and these hunters didn't wait for war. They started it. End of part 2. The next morning, the Apex Hunters were called to a grand hall. It was not for talks. It was for a test. The Virexi believed in strength, in dominance. To them, power wasn't just taken, it was earned through pain, fear, and victory. So when Logan and his team entered the chamber, they knew this was not a meeting, this was a fight. They stood before the Emperor again, surrounded by guards and watching eyes. The room was filled with tall Virexi nobles, all dressed in armor that gleamed like wet blood. At the center of the hall sat a table made of bones. On it were plates of raw meat, bowls of thick black drink, and tools that looked more like weapons than utensils. The Emperor watched them with cold yellow eyes. "You are not weak," he said, "but you are still soft." Logan did not flinch. "Then teach us." The Emperor smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "We will see what your kind can do." He raised one clawed hand. A door at the far end of the hall opened. From it came a creature. Unlike any the humans had seen, it was tall, over 2 meters, and built like a shadow. Its skin was dark, almost black, and its limbs moved with unnatural speed. It had no visible mouth, only glowing red eyes that stared straight at the Apex Hunters. Behind it came 4 Virexi warriors. Each wore heavy armor and carried weapons that pulsed with energy. The Emperor pointed at the creature and then at the warriors. "This is our champion," he said. "It has never lost." He turned to Logan. "If you wish to stay, one of you must fight." Silence filled the hall. Danny Cruz stepped forward. No one was surprised. He rolled his shoulders, cracked his neck. "I'll go," he said. The Emperor's smile grew wider. Good. The fight would take place in the pit. It was not a ring or a cage. It was a deep hole carved into stone, lined with spikes, fire pits, and traps hidden beneath the floor. The crowd gathered above, standing on platforms that circled the pit like a bowl. Danny stood alone in the center, wearing only his suit and boots. Hidden under his clothes were things the Virexi could not see. Tools, tech, a body trained for war. Across from him stood the creature, their champion. The Emperor gave a single command, and the fight began. The creature moved first, fast, silent, deadly. It lunged with claws like knives, slicing through the air where Danny had been a second ago. Danny dodged. He rolled, came up fast, and threw a punch. His fist hit the creature's chest, but it barely flinched. Instead, it turned its glowing eyes on him and charged again. This time, Danny didn't move. He caught the blow with both arms, locked the creature's limb, and twisted. The crowd roared, but the creature was strong. Too strong. It slammed Danny into the ground, sending dust and stone flying. For a moment, the humans feared he was done. Then Danny laughed, not loud, not proud, just a quiet sound, like he had found what he was looking for. Danny got up slowly. He wiped blood from his lip. Then he changed. He moved differently now, watching, learning. Every time the creature attacked, he studied how it moved, how it breathed, where it was slow. The third time it came at him, he sidestepped. But this time he didn't just dodge. He struck, hard. His elbow hit the creature's side just below the ribs. It staggered. Danny followed up, punch after punch, kick after kick. The creature tried to counter, but Danny was faster now, smarter. He used the pit against it, forcing it to trip over stones and fall near the fire. The crowd went wild. Even the Virexi nobles leaned forward, watching in shock. This human wasn't just fighting. He was winning. Finally, the creature fell. It lay on the ground, breathing hard. Danny stood over it. He looked up at the Emperor. The alien ruler stared down at him, silent for a long time. Then he clapped once. The crowd exploded into cheers. The Emperor rose from his throne. "You are not soft," he said. Danny smiled. "No," he said. "We're not." Back in their rooms that night, the Apex hunters talked. Kelly checked her notes. "That fight wasn't just for show," she said. "They were testing us. They wanted to know if we were worth fearing," Samira added. Logan nodded. "Now they do." Owen looked at Danny. "You okay?" Danny grinned. "Few bruises, nothing I can't handle." They were tired, but not scared, because they had learned something important. The Virexi respected strength, and Earth had brought plenty of it. Later that night, Kelly worked quietly while the others rested. She had stolen data from the palace during the fight. Hidden tech in her gloves had copied files stored in open terminals. Now she read through them. Names, plans, missions, secret wars. She saw the truth. The Virexi weren't just conquerors. They were rulers. They controlled other species, used them as tools, broke them and bent them to their will. Earth was next, unless someone stopped them. She looked at Logan. He was already awake, watching, waiting. She handed him the screen. He read it. Then he closed his eyes. When he opened them again, his voice was calm. "We don't leave here with peace," he said. "We leave here with war." The next day, the Apex hunters were called to the throne room again. This time, it was not just the Emperor waiting for them. The hall was full. Virexi nobles stood along the walls. Warriors lined the sides like statues carved from stone. Guards held glowing weapons ready for any move. At the center of the room sat a new table, not made of bones this time, made of crystal. On it were maps, tools, strange devices that pulsed with light, and beside the table stood 4 Virexi champions. They were tall, strong. Their armor looked different, shinier, more advanced than the guards. Their eyes burned with challenge. The Emperor rose from his throne. His voice echoed through the chamber. "You have proven strength," he said. "Now we test your will." He pointed at the table. "This is the trial of games." Logan stepped forward. "What kind of game?" he asked. The Emperor smiled. "The kind that decides who rules." The game was not played with cards or boards. It was played with skill, strategy, and danger. There were 3 rounds. Each one tested a different part of the mind and body. The first was a puzzle, a complex code built into the crystal table. The second was a fight against machines designed to mimic real enemies. The third was a test of survival, where the players had to escape a deadly maze filled with traps. The Virexi believed only the strongest could win, but Logan knew something they didn't. Humans didn't just survive, they adapted. And these humans, they were the best. The first round began. The puzzle lit up on the table. Lines moved. Shapes changed. Lights blinked in patterns that meant nothing at first. Danny frowned. Looks like some alien Sudoku. Kelly didn't laugh. She leaned in and started working. Her fingers moved fast. She studied the symbols, compared them to what she had stolen from the palace files. Then she saw it, a pattern. She whispered to Logan, "It's based on their history, battles they've won. I can crack it." Logan nodded. "Do it." She worked. The Virexi champions tried too, but they hesitated. They thought like warriors, not thinkers. 5 minutes later, Kelly pressed the final symbol. The puzzle locked into place. The lights turned green. The crowd gasped. The Emperor watched her closely. "You are clever," he said. Kelly met his gaze. "I know," she said. Second round. Fight against machines. The floor opened beneath them. They dropped into a large arena below the palace. It was dark, cold. Then the lights came on. Rows of metal figures stood in front of them. Not robots, more like living machines. Tall, fast, armed with blades and guns. The Virexi champions charged. They fought with wild strength, slicing through the machines with glowing swords. Danny joined them. He moved like a storm, hitting hard and fast. He broke limbs, crushed heads, flipped over attacks like he had done it 100 times before. But not all of them were fighting with fists. Samira stayed back. She used a small device hidden in her belt. It sent out pulses that confused the machines. One by one, they turned on each other. Chaos filled the arena. The Virexi warriors were shocked. They had never seen such tactics. Danny finished the last machine with a single kick to its core. It exploded. He grinned. That was fun. Third and final round. Survival. The Apex Hunters and the Virexi champions were placed in a maze. No map, no guide, only walls, traps, and time. The goal was simple: reach the exit before the others. But the maze was alive. Floors dropped into fire pits. Blades shot from the walls. Gas filled the air without warning. The Virexi ran ahead, trying to use brute force. Danny followed for a bit. Then he stopped. Something wasn't right. He looked down. The ground was different under his feet. He backed away. Seconds later, the floor where he had stood collapsed into spikes. Danny whistled. "Nasty." Owen checked the walls. "These traps follow a pattern," he said. "Like a code." Logan nodded. "Then we break it." They moved carefully. While the Virexi rushed, the humans watched. They studied, they learned, and they found the way out. When they reached the end, the gate opened. They stepped into the light. The Virexi champions were still lost inside. Back in the throne room, the Emperor stared at them. "You have won," he said. Logan bowed slightly. "Thank you." The Emperor's face did not change. Then he laughed, loud, deep. "You are not just strong," he said. "You are smart, fast, adaptable." He looked at the other nobles. "This is why we must control them," he said, "before they control us." Silence fell. Logan smiled. "We're not here to be controlled," he said. "No," the Emperor said. "I see that now." He stood. "So tell me, human, what do you want?" Logan took a step closer. "To talk," he said. The Emperor raised an eyebrow. "That is all?" Logan shook his head. "No," he said. "We came to talk, and to show you what Earth can do." "And what is that?" the Emperor asked. Logan looked him in the eye. "Win." The Emperor led them through a hidden door. It was not large, not flashy, just a crack in the stone wall behind his throne. But when it opened, cold air rushed out. Darkness waited inside. Logan looked at his team. They nodded. One by one, they followed the Emperor into the tunnel. Lights came on as they walked. Faint blue lines lit the floor and walls. The path was narrow, lined with symbols that glowed softly. This place was old and important. They walked for what felt like minutes. Then the tunnel opened into a wide room. It was round, tall, filled with screens, tables, and strange machines. In the center stood a tall pillar made of black glass. Inside it floated a glowing ball of light, data, power, knowledge. The Emperor turned to Logan. "This is the heart," he said. "All our secrets live here." Logan looked at Kelly. She stepped forward. Her eyes lit up as she studied the systems. This was more than just data storage. It was control. Everything the Virexi ruled, planets, ships, weapons, even other species, was linked to this system. Kelly whispered, "This is everything." Owen checked the wires. "It's connected to their whole empire." Samira frowned. "Why show us this?" The Emperor smiled. "You asked to talk," he said. "Now you see why we must rule you." Logan crossed his arms. "We're not here to be ruled," he said. "No," the Emperor said. "You are here to understand." He walked to the pillar, tapped it once. A screen appeared in the air. It showed stars, planets, ships. Then it zoomed in. On Earth. Red lines connected Earth to other worlds. Names flashed across the screen. Species the Virexi had. Broken, bent, used, Earth was next. Logan read every word. His face stayed calm, but inside he burned. Danny cracked his knuckles. "So, this is your big secret?" he said. "You've been playing puppet master with half the galaxy." The Emperor did not deny it. "We bring order," he said. "Without us, there is only chaos." Danny laughed. "Sounds like a fancy word for slavery." The Emperor watched him. "You think your kind is free?" he asked. "You are not. You will never be." Logan stepped between them. "We're not here to argue," he said. "We're here to make sure you know something." The Emperor raised an eyebrow. "What is that?" Logan looked him in the eye. "That Earth isn't afraid of you." The Emperor stared. Then he laughed. Deep, loud. "You are brave," he said. "But bravery does not win wars." "No," Logan said. "But knowledge does." He gave a small nod. Kelly moved fast. She pulled a small device from her glove. With a tap, it sent a silent pulse into the system. The hack began. It would take time, but the data was now being copied, every secret, every plan, every lie. The Virexi would not keep this power forever. The Emperor noticed the movement. His smile faded. He turned to Kelly. "What have you done?" Kelly looked up. "Learned the truth." The Emperor's eyes turned red. Guards appeared at the door, weapons raised. The trap had sprung. They were no longer guests. They were prisoners or targets. Logan raised his hands. "We meant no harm," he said. "We only wanted to understand." The Emperor growled. "You wanted to steal." "No," Logan said. "We wanted to stop you." The Emperor took a step closer. "You cannot stop us," he said. "You are 5. We are millions." Logan smiled. "Maybe," he said. "But you forgot one thing." The Emperor frowned. "What?" Logan's voice was calm. "We don't run." He moved. Fast. His hand shot out. He grabbed the Emperor's wrist, twisted. At the same time, Danny charged. He hit the nearest guard with a punch that cracked armor. Samira ducked low and pulled a weapon from her boot. One shot, one kill. Owen grabbed Kelly and pulled her back. "Time to go," he yelled. Logan let go of the Emperor. He looked at him one last time. "Don't threaten Earth again." Then he ran. They fought their way through the hall. Gunfire echoed. Blades clashed. Blood spilled. They moved like ghosts. Faster. Smarter. They reached the exit, jumped into the shadows, disappeared. The Virexi searched, but they were already gone. Back in the palace halls, the nobles argued. The emperor sat on his throne. His face was dark, his voice was quiet. "They are not diplomats," he said. "They are hunters." One noble asked, "What do we do?" The emperor stood. "We hunt them back." The palace was no longer safe. The apex hunters ran through the dark halls, their footsteps silent on cold stone floors. Behind them, alarms screamed. Lights flashed red. Guards poured into the corridors like water breaking through a dam. They were not just chasing the humans anymore. They were hunting them. Logan led the way. He moved fast but smart, checking corners, listening for movement. Kelly followed close behind, her hands tight around a small device that pulsed with stolen data. Owen was next. He carried extra gear in his pack: tools, weapons, escape plans. Samira and Danny brought up the rear. Danny had a gun now, pulled from a fallen guard. He fired quick shots, keeping enemies back. Samira moved like smoke. She slipped behind cover, took out targets with silence and skill. They weren't trying to win this fight, they were trying to survive it. They reached a stairwell. It spiraled down into the palace's lower levels. "This way," Logan said. "No," Kelly whispered. "This leads to the prison blocks." Logan looked at her. "Then we use it." He pushed open the door. They stepped inside. The air was colder below. The walls were tighter. The lights dimmer. They passed empty cells made of black metal. Some still held prisoners, thin, scared beings from other species. Kelly saw one look at them through the bars. She stopped. "We can't leave them," she said. Logan shook his head. "We don't have time." She looked at him hard. He sighed. "Danny, check the locks." Danny nodded. He pulled a tool from his belt and started working on the first cell. The lock clicked open. The alien inside looked at him, confused. Danny smiled. "Go home," he said. The alien ran. One by one, Danny opened the cells. More prisoners fled into the dark. Some turned back to help. A few joined the fight. Not because they were strong, but because they had nothing left to lose. Back above, the Virexi were closing in. Footsteps echoed through the halls. Gunfire cracked against the stone walls. The Emperor's voice came over the speakers. "You cannot escape," he said. "You will die here." Logan looked at his team. "We're not dying today," he said. He turned to Owen. "How far to the exit?" Owen checked his map. "There's a service tunnel near the west wing. Leads to the outer wall." Logan nodded. "Let's move." They fought their way through the lower halls. Now, they had help. The freed prisoners slowed the guards. Some threw rocks. Others used stolen blades. It wasn't much, but it gave the apex hunters time. They reached the tunnel. It was narrow. Wet. They crawled through it, one by one. Behind them, the palace burned. At the end of the tunnel, they found a hidden gate. Owen worked on the lock. It groaned, then clicked open. Outside, the night sky stretched wide. Stars watched. Wind blew. Freedom waited. But before they could step outside, a voice spoke from the shadows. "I knew you would run." They turned. A figure stood there. Tall, cloaked. Not a guard. Not a prisoner. Someone else. A woman. Her face was hidden, but her voice was sharp. "I warned you," she said. "They wouldn't let you leave." Logan stepped forward. "Who are you?" The woman stepped into the light. She wore Virexi armor, but her skin was smooth. Her eyes were soft. She was not one of them. She was something else. "I am Lyra," she said. "Ambassador of the free worlds." Kelly gasped. Lyra looked at them. "They told me you were diplomats," she said. "I knew better." Logan studied her. "Why help us?" Lyra smiled. "Because I know what the Virexi do, and I know you are the only ones who can stop them." She held out a hand. There is a ship waiting. If we leave now, we might make it. Danny looked at the others. Logan took her hand. Then let's go. They followed Lyra through the city. She knew the streets, the safe paths, the places the Virexi did not watch. They reached the edge of the capital. There, hidden in the dark, sat a small ship. It looked old, broken, but it flew. Owen checked it quickly. It'll work, he said. For now, they climbed aboard. Lyra stayed behind. I can't come, she said. Not yet. Logan looked at her. Thank you. She nodded. Earth sent hunters, she said. But maybe they also sent hope. The hatch closed. Engines roared. The ship lifted off. Below, the city burned. Above, the stars waited, and Earth's hunters rose into the dark to bring war back home. The ship flew through space like a ghost. It was fast but old. Every bolt creaked. Every wire groaned. Inside, the apex hunters sat in silence. They were safe for now, but not free. Earth was still far away, and Virex Prime would not forget them, not after what they had done. Logan sat near the front, eyes on the stars ahead. Kelly worked with small tools at her seat, checking the data she had stolen. Owen watched the systems, making sure nothing failed mid-flight. Danny leaned back, arms behind his head. Samira stood by the window, watching the dark. No one spoke for a long time. Then Kelly looked up. I've decrypted part of it, she said. Everyone turned to her. She held up a small screen. This isn't just war plans, she said. This is control. Logan frowned. Control of what? All of it, she said. Planets, species, weapons. They have spies everywhere. They whisper orders, and whole worlds obey. Owen shook his head. That's not war. That's a puppet show. Kelly nodded. And Earth was next. Logan took a deep breath. They're not going to stop, he said. We showed them we're not weak, now they'll come harder. Danny sat up. Let them, Samira finally spoke. We need to warn Earth. Logan nodded. We do more than warn. We prepare. He stood. We don't just tell them what we saw. We show them what we can do. They reached a safe distance from Virex Prime. Owen checked their position. We're out of range, he said. For now. Logan looked at Kelly. Can you send a signal? She smiled. I was already setting it up. She pulled a small device from her bag. It looked like a phone, but it was built for one thing, sending messages across space. Fast, hidden, untraceable. She tapped a few buttons. A message loaded. It was short, but strong. Earth, this is Logan Reeves. We made contact. They're not friends, they're enemies, and they're coming. But we're ready. She pressed send. The signal flew through the stars, across space, past planets, through silence, until it reached home. Back on Earth, lights blinked. Alarms went off in quiet rooms. Men and women in suits looked up from desks. One word flashed on. Every screen, incoming. The message was read quickly, then shared, then acted upon. Soon, ships were moving. Bases were preparing. Weapons were being tested. Earth was no longer sleeping. It was waking up, because its hunters had returned, with proof, with truth, with war. On the ship, the team waited. Minutes passed. Then came the reply. A voice came through the speaker, calm, firm, receiving message. Stand by for command. Logan smiled. They heard us. Danny cracked his neck. Good. Owen looked at the map. We should reach Earth orbit in 4 days. Samira crossed her arms. Then what? Logan looked at each of them. Then we fight. He walked to the center of the room. We went there thinking we could talk. We thought maybe peace was possible. He shook his head. But these aren't diplomats. They don't want peace. They want control. He paused. So we give them something else. What's that? Danny asked. A warning. Kelly looked up. What kind of warning? Logan grinned. The kind that makes them fear us. He pointed at her. You take the data, show the world what they tried to hide. Then he pointed at Owen. You get the tech ready. We'll need weapons they've never seen. To Samira, you train new teams. We won't be the only ones fighting. He turned to Danny last. You go public. Make sure everyone knows who the enemy is. Danny smirked. Finally get to be famous? Logan laughed. Just make sure they feel scared before you smile for the cameras. Danny gave a thumbs up. Done. As the ship moved through space, the message spread. Plans were made. Allies were called. Other species began to rise. Lyra's words echoed in the data files. Earth sent hunters. Maybe. They also sent hope. Hope wasn't a feeling. It was a weapon, and Earth was loading its guns. The ship broke through the clouds of Earth's orbit. It was home, but not safe. Behind them, Virex Prime had launched a fleet. They were fast, angry. They wanted the Apex Hunters dead, and they weren't going to stop at space. They were coming to Earth. Inside the command center on Earth, alarms rang. Lights blinked red. Men and women in uniforms ran between screens and maps. A voice came over the speaker. Unidentified ships entering Earth space. Estimated time to arrival, 36 minutes. A general looked up. We need to move now. Another officer nodded. The team is landing in 5. On the ship, the Apex Hunters felt the pull of gravity return. They were close. Logan stood in the center of the cabin. He looked at his team. One by one, he spoke. Kelly, get that data to every channel, every world. We show everyone what the Virexi are. She nodded. Owen, you go to the labs. Get our tech ready. We fight with more than guns. Owen gave a thumbs up. Samira, you help train the new teams. We won't be the only ones fighting this war. Samira smiled. I'll make sure they're ready. Logan turned to Danny last. You talk to the people. Make them understand. Make them ready. Danny grinned. Let me put on my suit. I'll look good on TV. Logan laughed. Then he looked out the window. Earth was below them. Beautiful, fragile, and about to be attacked. The ship landed at a hidden base. As soon as the hatch opened, men and women in suits ran forward. Soldiers, scientists, leaders. Logan stepped. Out first, a general met him. They're coming, the general said. Logan nodded. I know. That's why we brought the fight back. He held up a small drive. This has everything. Their plans, their lies, their crimes. The general took it. We'll spread it fast. Logan looked up. We don't just tell the truth. We hit them where it hurts. He turned to Owen. How's the tech? Owen smiled. It's ready. He pointed to a large hangar nearby. Inside were machines unlike anything the Virexi had seen. Fast ships, hidden weapons, armor that could turn a soldier into a wall of fire. Owen walked toward them. We built these while you were gone, he said. Now we use them. Back in space, the Virexi fleet arrived. Big ships, black hulls, guns that burned stars. Their leader stood on the bridge. He watched Earth below. His voice was cold. This world will kneel. A warning came through. Enemy ships detected. Launching attack. The Virexi commander did not flinch. Begin orbital. Strike. The big guns fired. Beams of light shot toward Earth. But before they reached their target, a signal went off. Countermeasures active. Defenses online. Welcome home, Apex Hunters. From the ground, Earth answered. Missiles rose like fireflies. Ships flew like ghosts. Lasers lit up the dark. The Virexi ships were hit, one by one. They fell, exploded, burned. In the control room, Kelly sat at a desk. She pressed a button. Across the world, screens lit up. On every planet where the Virexi had control. On every station, every ship, every colony, their secrets played. Videos, files, proof. The Virexi were not rulers, they were tyrants, and now everyone knew. Alien prisoners, broken worlds, hidden wars, all of it. Every screen showed the same message. Earth did not send diplomats, they sent Apex Hunters in suits, And now, you will answer for what you've done. The message spread. Other species saw it. They rose. They fought. The Virexi were no longer feared. They were hated and hunted. At the base, Logan stood on the roof. He watched the sky burn. Danny came beside him. That was fast, Danny said. Logan nodded. We made them scared. Danny grinned. Good. He looked down at the city below. People were outside, watching, talking, not hiding, not crying, standing tall. Danny sighed. They're ready, he said. Logan looked at him. Yeah, he said. They are. He turned to the others. Time to finish this, they all nodded, because Earth had shown the galaxy something new. Not fear, not weakness, not peace. It had shown power. Real power. The kind that wins wars and reminds the stars that humans don't run. Humans hunt.